Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the InterClean webinar series. My name is Liam Jia. I'm from the EU SME Centre. I'm very happy today to be invited to share a very brief introduction to tapping into the cleaning markets in China. First of all, a little bit about the EU SME Centre. We are a EU-funded project focusing on providing information and services to increase the knowledge and raise the awareness of small and medium-sized enterprises on the China markets. We have been already in China for over 10 years, established in 2010. Currently, we are in the third phase, implemented by 5 chambers of commerces, who are the implementing partners, of which you can see in the bottom of the slide. Our services mainly lie in these 4 aspects. We have a knowledge center where we have published nearly 200 comprehensive market reports, guidelines and case studies. We have an advice center where our in-house experts provide first-line advice on business development, market access, legal issues, and so on. We also have a training center where we provide face-to-face or online training programs on a good range of related business issues in the China markets. We also have an advocacy platform for SMEs where we consolidate the voice and constantly work on improving the business environment for European companies in China. Here is a little bit of the achievements of the SME Center in terms of our publications, number of inquiries, webinars, and trainings. China today is what I called a connected universe. When talking about China, there will be a good number of keywords popping up in people's minds. That includes the 14th five-year plan, which is a national development strategy of the Chinese government. There were keywords such as environmental sustainability. There are keywords such as the modern Chinese consumer, the development of advanced technologies, economic restructuring and new growth drivers, and so on and so forth. Although full of opportunities, the Chinese market is still not simple. It is rather extremely complex and at the same time being very competitive. Looking at some of the recent developments, just to name a few, EU and China has just signed a comprehensive agreement on investment. Looking beyond markets, what does the agreement eventually means for businesses? This still remains to be discussed, and China's vaccination efforts is picking up pace according to the forecast of the economists. The China's vaccination coverage will surpass eventually 60% of the population already by the third quarter of 2022. China's also issued this initiative on carbon neutrality goal, and the government is taking very modest first steps already by launching some of the initial targets. And we have also noticed a relatively strengthened IPR protection being enforced in the country. The increase in terms of the ease of doing business means that the Chinese market is being more regulated with for starting and also for operation of a firm in the country. However, this opportunities does not only lie in one market. And looking at what EU SMEs have been facing is a very limited level of internationalization. 38% of the 2 to 20 million SMEs in Europe have been involved in exports activities. However, 66% of all exporting SMEs are still oriented towards the internal markets. So it's a market within another member state. And the relations with emerging markets such as China, India, or Southeast Asia are still generally limited. And this figure listed that I put it in bold is related to China. Only 2.3% of the European SMEs are exporting to China, and the figure for imports is only 6.75%. So the level of internationalization for European SMEs still remain limited. And looking at the SMEs who are already in China, that are also facing a number of challenges accessing more opportunities. I've listed, just to mention a few, that includes a level playing field, that includes industrial policies and non-tariff measures, how to access to government subsidies and to finance opportunities, and of course, eventually the influence of COVID-19. And all these concerns have all been clearly identified by the Interchamber SME Working Group of the European Chamber of Commerce and of the SME Centre. I recommend you to take a further look at the Business Confidence Survey published by the European Chamber in China of last year. And looking at our own statistics, from our point of view, from the 4,500 inquiries and consultations we have done at the EU SME Centre, we also did a mapping of where the questions are mainly focusing on. So most of our questions are on business development. So SMEs reach out to us when they have questions in terms of market information, looking for a Chinese partner, different ways of selling their products. We also have received legal related questions that includes due diligence, OV setup, joint venture setups, and also on e-commerce law, which is a hot topic for now. On standards and conformity, we have also received a good number of questions that includes customs clearances, includes wine standards, as well as on cosmetics. And there are also other inquiries we received on advocacy, on HR-related issues, for example, recruitment, termination of contracts, and also on business culture. So similar to those that we have named before, and some of the main barriers remain the same for companies who are already in China. About the cleaning sector in China, just to name a few of the trends that we observed. So since the COVID-19 pandemic has become more normalized now in China, cleaning has also started to become a daily demand and a basic condition for production as well as for general life activities. We've noticed there are stricter cleaning standards being met. That has also become a general trend. So schools, medical institutions, hospitals, real estate or commercial areas, and other public environmental places, there starts to be a new round of demand for cleaning equipment, tools, and environmental maintenance and other related products. And also for companies who provide these professional services. And they have all been through a wave of, both in terms of product and technology, a wave of upgrades. In recent years, the market size of the global environmental protection industry has been receiving an average annual growth of around 8%, which is far exceeding the global economic growth rates. And this environmental protection industries has also transitioned from a traditional industry now to a fast developing one. So in China, it started in the 1970s, 1980s, the cleaning industry. And ever since, with the support of the use of technology, the cleaning industry, which is an important component of environmental protection, has entered into the fast lane of development. And China's cleaning industry started late and is still in a rather early stage of development. However, China's cleaning industry is developing at a very fast pace. A large number of manufacturers of floor scrubbers, of carpet cleaners, of vacuum cleaners, for example, have sprung up. And some famous international brands also started their businesses in the market and expanding gradually. And during another important influence, and we'll call it impact of momentums, is during this raging period of SARS, of the bird flu in China, where people's conception of cleanness has all the time been changed and improved. And the hygiene requirements for individuals and for public places have also been further improved. According to statistics, the output value of cleaning products involved in SARS alone has exceeded hundreds of millions of dollars. And not even mentioning COVID, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic with its global presence, and certainly there's much bigger impacts. At the same time, the government is also vigorously advocating the improvements of the standards of cleanliness, of sanitation, and actively setting up new standards, higher standards, and actively purchasing cleaning supplies to serve the public and major business development areas, and as such. And also in just half a year, PM 2.5 has also changed from a livelihood hot discussion point to a national standards, which is a requirement now for entire country, for most, for if not all of the industries. And with all the actions eventually serving the same purpose, the government is working very hard to increase the quality of the lives of the people. At the same time, with the gradual disappearance of the demographic dividend, the commercial cleaning industry is also facing a lot of challenges. For example, the high labor costs, for example, the high safety risks, while at the same time low efficiency. So the realization of low cost, data-driven, visualized, and systematic and professional management with the help of advanced technology is becoming, is undoubtedly the transformation direction and the trend that the industry has been directed to. And as an example, the Chinese government is committed to increasing the expenditure on the use of IT technology in a number of sectors, for example, healthcare, and to eventually drive market growth. This has all been named as national targets. So, and looking at where the opportunities lies, while looking at the overlaps of the shifting in demand, as well as the new growth drivers. Here we listed a few of the sectors that companies should look into. And eventually, as some of the takeaway advices, we at the EU SME Centre normally give to companies, first of all, to understand the markets, the procurement processes, to match the needs and demands and the expectation of the clients, to identify who are the real clients and key partners, which actions needs to be taken at which stage of the procurement process, And then also important is to map the revenue streams of the client and the supply chain. And the best chances of success still lies in very niche or emerging, at the same time, high risk areas. And we also advise you to keep the product simple, define a premium product that still offers good value. If this practice has been done well, the margin we're looking into could be much higher than those in Europe. And importantly is to comply with local standards and market prices. And once again, express yourself in simple terms to your partners and clients. Have your strategies to protect your intellectual property rights. Having your trademark registered in Europe does not mean that you have it registered in China as well. Acquire knowledge of different financing options. Make sure, importantly, you are entering the deal at the point in which the clients have revenue available to pay you. Understand the reforms to the procurement regulations and the actions now available, and eventually invest yourself in building relationships with the technical partners, with the business and financial partners, and exercise due diligence.